Hey everyone, just thought I would go over an exercise on how to use the Viewfinder. Though we've talked about it in class, I want you all to be experimenting with viewfinders this week. So in your sketchbook assignment, what I suggestion you all do is take a moment to figure out how to use this tool here. So you can see in this instance, I've put some dental floss on the back of it, and I've used it to help me figure out my X and Y axis. What we're looking at when we are trying to create our viewfinders, I found a kind of stiff piece of paper, which was another larger piece of index card that I had, and I cut a 2" by 1.5" square, which happens to be the same size as a post-it note. So if you'd like, put the post-it note in the middle, trace over it, and then cut that out. In this instance, I just used a box cutting knife, and that worked really well. You can, if you like, trace this and then draw inside that. But I want you to practice size and proportion. And being able to figure out what you're looking at. So I did several different squares here as a sample of that. And this is in a direction that is what we call vertical or portrait, and horizontal or landscape. And so when you're looking at different images, be sure, like let's say you're trying to capture something that is in the landscape setting, that you make sure you turn it also in this direction, and that your square looks like the rectangle looks in the same direction. And so when you're looking around your house or wherever, it's really the idea that you're practicing what you're looking at through your viewfinder. And to make it easy for myself, I put my object, on the crosshairs of my little viewfinder string that I put on there, and this happens to be dental floss. And then I'm able to kind of draw my shape. So I'm looking at a drill that I have in my studio, sort of drawing it a bit wide right now, and then I'll square it off a little bit. And it's the idea of trying to capture stuff outside the picture frame. Just using the viewfinder as a tool, figuring out how else you can kind of capture things inside this frame. Seeing what that looks like. So, change and try and figure out how to use this frame. You can use pictures if you want to. You can hold it up close to your eye. You can move it in close, or you can move it into the object, see what those things look like. And so we're using that as a way to see if you can do something that creates an interesting visual that extends beyond the frame. And if it helps, this is an old milk carton, feel free to draw your objects through the frame. It's just a way of indicating that there's more stuff that's happening beyond here. So you don't have to end it. That's supposed to be my door handle right there. So that's my viewfinder, trying to put squares down on your sketch pad. Use larger squares and smaller squares as your thumbnail sketching. That you change directions of those thumbnails to vertical and horizontal to try things out. And that you're trying to capture something that's going beyond the frame that you see through the viewfinder.